What are some of the things that you heard
Okay,
from
so
people?
one guy, I won't name him, but I was auditing him, and I was pulling withholds on him, and it turns out that he was,
Trigger
uh,
warning, by the way, guys.
yeah,
Tune out now.
he. This is very difficult for me to talk about
I
because
understand, man. Take your time.
it was harrowing to listen to, because when you're pulling withholds on someone, you have to get all the details of literally everything they've done in the withhold to
Yeah.
to the point of hand position, sequence of action. You have to get the whole everything right. And this
Mhm.
guy, it turns out that he's a pedophile, and I'm not just talking about any pedophile. I'm talking about he was one of the big top guys of a network of pedophiles who
Wait,
would
what?
share. Yeah, he was like, so you have like pedophile networks, right? And
Mhm.
um they all know each other and they all correspond. And he was one of the head honchos. So
No shit.
any decent, what they would call decent, child imagery or video, he would further it on to everybody else. And not only that, Doug, he was making the fucking shit. So when I say making the shit, this guy, honestly,
I'm sorry, man. Take your time. Like I said, if you need to take a break, bro, I
so
can cover I can
yeah,
cover the chat, man.
it's fine. This guy, he was raping children, and I had to pull it. I had to say, "What did you do with this 12-year-old boy exactly?"
Fuck me, man. I
I want to know all the details. Anyway,
no.
this was the first day. I swear to God, I got home and I was like, "I need a fucking drink."
Wait,
Like,
this was day 1 of your
this was day
actual
1 of him.
what? Of him,
N
not your auditing.
No, this was just him. Yeah, it's not my
The
origin.
first session with this PC, that's the first
It
thing that you
wasn't the
got
first
out of?
session. It wasn't the first session. It was, further down the line, and,
Okay.
yeah, so as someone who's got children themselves, and I had
Mhm.
young children at the time, I was, I mean, I was mortified from having heard what I heard. So, anyway, the next day, I take him back in session, right? Now, here's the thing on this, right? So, I started putting withholds and overts on him again of being involved in making and distributing child pornography, right? This guy was not sitting across from me in such a way as to be sorrowful for his actions,
Mhm.
upset, like, yeah, like, can you imagine if he was like, "Oh, and I did this and I sent this video of this 10-year-old girl being, and I just can't believe I did that," and blah. To some degree,
He was
I'm not
proud.
okay with that. I'm not okay with that. But this guy was bragging
I know.
to me.
Yeah.
He was like, "I found this great video.
Oh my
Oh my
god,
god."
dude.
He goes, "You wanna hear about this video? I'm gonna tell
Oh
you all
my
about it."
god, dude.
And he goes, and he's sitting there bragging, and I don't know if people know this or not, but it's actually illegal for an auditor to just end session mid-session.
Right.
Y I ended that session without
Good for
ending it.
you. Good for
I
you.
I I just put my pen and paper down, right? I said to him, "Can you go wait in the PC lounge?" So he looked confused. He got
Yeah.
up. He sat down in the PC lounge. I went into the CS office. My heart was pumping. I wanted to kick the fucking living shit out of this guy.
As you fucking should have, man, and it would have been
Well, I'll get to
justified.
that because, so anyway, I wanted to kick the living shit out of him. And the ED and the senior case supervisor came in the office and says, "Chris, what's going on? Why have you ended the session?" And I said, "This guy who's sitting in there is raping and sending images of children being fucked by adults, and he's a head honcho, and I'm not gonna listen to it anymore." I said, "In fact, I'm gonna go in there now. I'm gonna kick the fuck out of him."
Yeah.
And I had to be physically restrained. They pulled me back. So, I then said, "Okay, fine. I'm not gonna kick the fuck out of him. But here's what I'm gonna do. I am going to the police right now."
Good for
Because,
you.
yeah, and they said to me, you know what the response was? If you do that, Chris, you'll become it and declared.
Guys, I know that sounds impossible, but this is the
It's actual
real
policy.
shit.
It's real.
Yep,
This is real.
that's right, and this is why you might understand more of the Danny Masterson case and the rapes and covers up.
So, so this guy, so I said to the senior CS, if I remember correctly, I think he had to go back in and finish the session on him because I refused. Um, I got in a lot of trouble for that.
Mhm.
I was into ethics,
Wow,
uh,
man.
cramming. And what boils my fucking piss even more is that this guy was a huge donator to the Ideal Org project. The very next morning, I walk in the corridor, and guess who's sitting in the ED's office having coffee, laughing and joking?
That's so
This
fucking
fucking child
disgusting.
rapist. This child rapist was sitting there in the ED's office laughing and joking, and he just donated another £200. And guess what? The ED knew. She knew what he was doing.
I don't even know what the fuck to say. I mean,
I do. I know what the fuck to say.
please,
Fucking wow.
that doesn't cover it. Did you go in and see that happening, and then did you have a response? What the fuck is going through your mind when
My
you saw
response
that,
was,
man?
well, they tried to put him back with me
No
as a PC,
way.
and I
Oh
said,
my
"I am not touching this guy with a barge pole. You can absolutely fucking be." And they're like, "You can't refuse to actually, per policy, refuse to audit a PC." I says, "Guess what? A child rapist? Yes, I can. I don't want to hear that shit. Thank you." And so, and he was around on lines for quite some time after. But now here's the thing: after I left, right? After I left, it took me several years to Google his name to find out if he'd been caught. Because if he had not been caught, that was on me, actually.
yeah, yeah.
It was I should have done something at the time
It's
because
okay, man.
all those, yeah, but it's not. It's not okay
I
because
understand, but you were, let's just
it's
say,
not okay. It's not okay at all. And I Googled him 6 months ago. And guess what? He was arrested and charged. He got caught a few years ago. Police raided his home, took his hard drive, his servers, and he got charged with one count of making indecent images of children,
wow.
several counts of having animal pornography with women and children and boys on his computer, and he didn't even get sent to jail.
Are you
But
shitting me?
I'm not shitting you. He got a 12-month community order and a fine, and he also,
Fuck.
yeah. But what the police don't know is that this guy was actually a ringleader of an entire porn network.
Are you
The
sure the
police,
police don't know?
the police do not know.
They're not involved in
But
covering
guess
up.
what? In Birmingham Morgue, 8 miles away from my house, there is a file, and that file tells exactly what he was up to.
Are you saying that you specifically have the file or you know what's going on? I mean,
I don't
I'm
have
s
the file. Scientology keep files and everything.
mhm,
They never throw anything away. So
mhm.
those files there are sitting there in the org. All of his session notes, my session notes, are all sitting there, and they knew and they covered up for him because he was
Yeah.
flashing the cash.
Do you think that cash helped him to get out of having, any kind of a actual
Yeah, and
sentence?
it was all part of his plan. Actually, he was
Really?
flashing. Yeah, he was flashing the cash because he knew that he would be protected.
That's fucking so disturbing on so many levels. I can't believe that,
Yeah,
man.
Doug, try listening to it.
That's what I'm saying, brother. I mean, that must have taken every ounce of TR training to not flip over the desk and lunge at him and literally kill him. That's the
Oh, I
reaction I
tried
have.
to, and I tried to, and I was stopped.
And
Yeah.
not only that, Chris, they covered it up and they
Yep.
made you were the one that did something wrong in Scientology. So you can see the
That's right.
extreme
I was the one at
reverse of the
I was the
ethics.
one at yeah, I was the one at fault. Yeah.
How fucking ridiculous is that?
And guess what? He's not even declared.
Are you?
And guess who is? Me.
That says everything, my friends. That says everything. I don't even know what to make of that. You didn't tell me. I didn't hear that detail
Well,
before. I didn't know
I
what the
have I
outcome was.
have
That's
another one.
absolutely fucking disgusting.
It's
And Chris, that
disgusting.
doesn't only say something about Scientology's ability to cover up.
Yeah.
What about the police, man? What about that?
Well, they
I
can
mean,
only yeah, but the police can only charge on the evidence they have, and that's all the evidence they had. Because don't forget, he
mhm.
was arrested and charged approximately 10 years after this
I
incident.
understand. Would the
Yeah.
evidence that they had in the pre-clear folders at Scientology, let's say that was freely available, would that incriminate him
Yes.
more? And see, that's what I'm saying. Scientology covers up pedophiles.
Yeah.